Hey guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. But in case this is the first time you are stopping by, my name is Gina and I'm a wife and mother from the Midwest, and I enjoy cooking fresh meals for my family, and sometimes I make videos and I post them here on YouTube. So for today, we are going to be making an instant pot version of my homemade pozole recipe. And I make chicken pozole because we are not fans of pork in our home. We maybe eat it like once a year in the form of a pork chop. And that's it. I mean, we like ham and bacon, but just pork meat is just not our thing. So if you want to, and you know how, you can sub the chicken out for pork. But for all intents and purposes, we are going to be making chicken today. I am basically going to try to half my pozole recipe because obviously I'm not going to make as much as I would make in my giant pozole pot because the instant pot is not that large. So this is kind of a wing it recipe just because I'm trying to convert it to the instant pot, but in any case, I'm sure it's going to be fine. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is breaking it down into two steps. The first step, we're going to be cooking the granos, or the hominy kernels, whatever you want to call them, and the chicken in the caldo part. And then I will still have to stovetop go ahead and boil the chiles and steep them so we can blend them and go ahead and sift the chile into the finished pozole before we shred the chicken. And I think it'll work out good because this is normally a dish that takes a lot of dishes and a lot of hours, and because of that I don't make it that often. But I'm definitely not going to skip making the homemade chile. Like I've seen online, like some people go ahead and just use like powdered chile ancho powder or whatever, but I mean, I use 3 different types of chiles in mine, and I don't think it'll taste the same. So anyways, without further ado, our ingredients for the actual pozole part are 2 chicken breasts. These are semi-frozen, but it'll be fine because it's the instant pot. I'm going to be using a couple of sprigs of cilantro. I happen to have 2 cans, which I got on clearance at Walmart, which is what inspired me to make this, of hominy, white hominy for pozole, and I'm going to go ahead and drain and rinse that. We're going to be using a white onion, a bunch of garlic, nor Suiza, of course, because we couldn't make anything that's Mexican without nor Suiza, could we? And then for our chile, I'm going to be using 4 chile guajillo, 2 chile ancho, and like 1 or 2 chiles de arbol, because you can always add more like dried ones in later to make it spicier if you want. And then I'm going to be adding a little bit of oregano and thyme also to this part. I don't know, I had those on the wrong side. So if you're familiar with pozole, you'll realize that I don't have all of the accoutrements out here, but I have a very small countertop, and I will explain what we top ours with in the end and show you what it looks like. But essentially, you can go ahead and while the Instant Pot is going, get your stuff prepared, like your lettuce, radishes, diced onion and cilantro, all that good stuff that makes pozole. So let me go ahead and get my chicken breasts washed, and I think we're going to saute our onions and garlic in the Instant Pot first, which you wouldn't do in pozole. You would just put the onions halved in there and like the whole head of garlic. But since we're not, doing an entire pot, I don't want to put a whole head of garlic in there. So we're going to go ahead and get my onions diced up, the garlic diced up, and I will be back when we're ready to saute. Okay guys, so it's a little hard for you to see because there's so much steam coming off of it, but I have my Instant Pot set to the saute function, and I have just done a fine dice on our onions, and I've been sauteing them until they were translucent, which they're about there now. Sorry, that was probably really loud in the camera. Now I'm just going to try to scoop up the garlic with one hand. Dang, pretty good. That was pretty impressive, guys. I hope you're clapping at home for me for that, because anyways, we're gonna go ahead and mix in our garlic for just a second to cook that raw garlic flavor off. And if you wanted to, you could have went ahead and actually caramelized the onions first. Now that I just thought about it, it probably would have tasted better like that, adding like another layer of flavor. But this is going to be great anyway, so we're just going to let that go for a second. And then I am going to fill up our pot to the, where's the lines? Here we go. The halfway mark. So it says like pressure cooker 2/3, pressure cooker half. So I'm going to fill it up to the half mark with water. And then we're going to toss in our granos, which is the hominy. This is how much we have. So it's about 3 cups once it's drained and rinsed. Which means also I probably won't be using all of this chicken that I'm actually going to cook in there. But since I defrosted it, I'm actually just going to cook both chicken breasts in there. And these are very large. So I am going to also cut these in half into pieces. So that way they cook more evenly. So let me go ahead and get some water in here so I can add the rest of the ingredients before we set our Instant Pot to cook. Because I do need both hands for a second. Okay, so to the Instant Pot, I have added the chicken breasts, which I cut in half. I filled the water, plain tap water, up halfway to the halfway mark of the Instant Pot guidelines. I added a tablespoon of Nor Suiza, and then about like 4 or 5, how many are there? Yeah, like 4 or 5 sprigs of cilantro that I just, rinsed and disinfected before I put them in. Now I'm going to go ahead and seal up the lid for a moment, and then we are going to be cooking poultry. Oops, we need to hit cancel because I had it on saute. So we're going to do poultry, and I'm going to set this for 12 minutes because I want those chicken breasts to be easily shredded. So that should be good. And you'll notice that I didn't add the granos back in there. And the reason is I decided that after I make the chile and I desmenuzar the chicken or shred the chicken, I'm going to put everything back under pressure for 5 minutes because having the hominy cook just in chicken broth isn't going to add the flavor to it. It needs to cook in the chile. So let me go ahead and start working on my chiles. I'm going to go ahead and use 4 guajillo, 2 ancho, and 1 or 2 arbol. The arbol are ready as they are. Like, they're good to go. You don't have to, open them and clean them at all. But we are going to remove the seeds and the veins from the ancho and the guajillo, and I'm not going to be toasting them or anything like that. We're just going to be adding them straight into the water. So I have a small saucepan here that's filled up about halfway with water that I've been heating up, and I will show you what it looks like when those are boiling. I thought I would just jump on and show you guys what the chiles look like before I take care of them, just in case you're not familiar. So these are chile guajillo, and that's spelled with a G for any of you who don't know. And these are a very, in my opinion, mild chile that just kind of bring a nice richness to the sauce or the salsa. These are chile ancho. These are nice and fresh ones that I have. See how they're soft? You do want to try to get soft ones when you buy the package of them because that means that they're fresh. But basically, I don't know, these ones have like a spicy raisin flavor to me, if that makes any sense. These are like smokier also in my opinion. And then these are chiles de arbol, which are super duper spicy. They are very small and they pack a punch. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the stem ends, take scissors and cut them open and remove the ribs and the seeds. And then go ahead and cut them into small pieces and get them into this boiling water. Okay, so I have all the chiles in the water and it's boiling, and I'm going to let this simmer like this for about 5 minutes, and then I will let them sit in the water for a little bit too, just until they're nice and soft, because we do have a while. This is still coming to pressure. It's not even like actually under pressure yet. And in retrospect, I realized I should have probably made this chile first before, you know what? I can still do it. All right, guys. I'm stopping this. This is getting nice and hot. I'm going to make the chile in its entirety, and then I'm going to add it to the pot and add the granos, and then put everything under pressure for probably like 15 minutes, and then I will take the chicken out and shred it, and then it'll be done. So that way we don't have to put the pot under pressure twice. So let me go ahead and let this finish boiling, and then I'm going to start adding things to my blender that I need to add to finish off this chile before we get the pot going. Okie dokie, so our chiles are done. As you can see, they have reconstituted, or they are hydrated and soft again. So now that they're nice and suavecita, we are going to leave them to sit here for a second while I explain to you what else we're going to add to the blender cup for the chile. So I'm going to be adding in 2 little slices, which would be equal to like 1 circle round of raw onion. And I'm being a little ballsy putting it in here because these are going to be hot. And anytime that you blend something that's hot, it creates pressure. So I don't recommend this. Use a regular blender that you can vent and be safe. So I just like to live on the edge, I guess. But anyways, I've got 1 clove of garlic, an additional clove. And then I'm going to be adding a ½ teaspoon each of whole cumin seeds, thyme, and oregano. I'm going to add that all to right here. Then I'm going to go ahead and take all of the pieces of the chile out and then add a little bit of water to it and blend it for a while until it's completely smooth paste. I will be back to show you what that looks like. Okay friends, so to recap, in case you are confused, since I switched up my recipe like mid-filming, we have blended our chile and now we're going to be adding all the rest of the ingredients to the pot so that way we can bring it to a boil and finish it up. So inside of the Instant Pot, I have ½ of a pot of water. I have the sauteed onion and garlic. I have the chicken breasts that are in there, 2 whole chicken breasts that are halved. And I also added a tablespoon of Norsuiza and about 5 whole sprigs of cilantro that we will pull out when it's done. I'm going to go ahead and add our 2 cans of drained and rinsed hominy to the pot. And then the next step that I have to do, which I have to do off of camera, is obviously this can't sit in the water like that. And if you look, that was the perfect amount of water to add because we are almost to the max. So half a pot is great because once we added the hominy in, it obviously increased the volume of the pot. So anyways, this I will pour the chile in there. And then we are going to strain it and get all of the little chunks that might be left from blending it. So I will show you what that looks like before I pop the machine on. Alright, so this is the solids that we're left with after we strain it. So as you can see, there's like little chunks of skin and stuff that we wouldn't want in here. I went ahead and strained it right in here. And it does look like the broth is almost rich enough. I mean, I like a really rich pozole broth, like with a lot of chile flavor. So we'll have to see how this goes because I am just like halving the recipe basically and seeing if it works out for the Instant Pot. So we might need to add more in there the next time, but it looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and put our lid on. We're going to set the valve to seal, and then we are going to switch this over to soup broth, which I don't even think that matters, to be honest. They're all just pressure cooking. And let's see. I want to do... I'm going to say 18 minutes, and we're going to do a quick pressure release, not a natural pressure release. So now this is actually pretty hot already, so this should come to pressure quickly. Once this is done, I'll show you what it looks like once I open it up. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and prep all of our toppings. All right, so our time is up. I have removed our chicken, and I just tossed the cilantro in my sink because I'm going to clean all that out when I'm done. And it looks pretty good. Next time I think I'd put a little bit less water in, so maybe fill it up like a quarter of the way, like not all the way to the half line, because this is a lot of broth for how many granos are in there. In my opinion, I don't know, we like to just eat the bulk of the soup with not so much broth. So I'm going to let this sit for a minute because it's too hot to touch, and then just take 2 forks. And actually I am going to add that all back to the pot because they cooked down kind of small. I tasted it for salt and I ended up adding another tablespoon of Norsuiza to it. And let's taste it now and see how it is. It is really good, guys. Really delicious, actually. I'm pretty excited about this. So I'm going to go ahead and shred this, then we'll plate it up, and I will show you our toppings. Alrighty, so this is what our pozole looks like when it's served up in the bowl. I'm pretty excited about it. It turned out great for the Instant Pot, way easier. And our toppings are fresh shredded lettuce, We have some diced onion and and minced cilantro. Wow, English is hard for me right now. Some lime and some avocado, and you're supposed to have radishes, but I was stupid and forgot them at the grocery store. We also add a little bit of fresh oregano on, and then if you wanted it spicier, you can just kind of crumble up some chile de árbol right into your bowl, and then we go ahead and we eat tostadas topped with a little bit of sour cream and salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my bowl all divvied up so you can see what it looks like, and we will do a taste test. All right, folks. So this looks so good. It would look better if there was radish on it, but there's not, so whatever. Got my tostada. Daniel's got his stuff, and this will be the true taste test because I've never made Instant Pot one.
Pretty good.
How is it in comparison to the regular way?
It's pretty good. A little bit mushier than the regular way, but it's really good.
The chicken or the granos?
The granos.
Yeah, it's not the brand that you like.
Oh,
Yeah. We prefer the brand of Goya
They're really good.
hominy. But I guess that's that, guys. So this is my video on how to make Instant Pot Pozole. It makes a small batch, so it makes it easier to eat throughout the year instead of just one special time of year on Christmas, which is what we usually do it, like Christmas and New Year's. So if you enjoyed my video, I'd appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. And if you liked it, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a great day. Can you say have a good day?
Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye.
Bye.